Our next guest is a Phoenix native who remembers the good old days when there was nothing north of Camelback Road. And folks rode horseback through the neighborhoods on their way to the desert. Yeah, those were good days. Steve Weiss is also a professional photographer. Steve, it's good to have you here. And Eddie's going to join us because Eddie and I, well, I know I'm not a very good photographer.
I'm not a very good photographer.
What do you think is the main reason we all stink at it?
People don't move close enough. I'd say that's about 90%. And I'd say the second thing is that when people focus their cameras, because you focus in the center of your camera, you tend to balance everything in the center. And if you see, by looking at my photographs, you'll see that it's very rare that it's important to balance something in the center. So it's looking at that whole frame. Everybody, your eye works one way, but a camera is just a mechanical object.
Well, in the camera, there's always that little square in the middle that you look at, so that's where your focus goes.
But that little circle in the center where you're supposed to focus the camera, as soon as you got it focused, move it to the side. Find the most important thing. Just off balance, because whatever happens in the dead center of the frame becomes the most important thing. If you have your picture only balanced in the center, it means that you're not looking at that other stuff. That's essentially it.
Let's look at some of the pictures you've brought. They're absolutely beautiful, and this goes to prove his point here. Look at, gosh, that's awesome. Just neat.
This is at Encanto Park.
In Encanto?
Yeah, that's it's called While They Weren't Looking. And,
wow.
What, was it raining? Or?
It was a very foggy day. I live near Encanto. Whenever it's foggy in the neighborhood, that's when I race over there and look for good light.
Wow, that is gorgeous.
That doesn't even look in Phoenix.
I know. I didn't think it was here. Let's see the next one. That's beautiful.
This is out near Douglas, and it's you can either call it Polled Hereford or you can call it Cow and Cloud, either one.
Oh, God, I like that.
So see what he did there, Eddie? Now, most of us would have just gotten the cow in the center, and that's what you talked about by moving it slightly off center.
Plus, it's really minimal. Very
slight.
Yeah, very little amount of information, which makes it, I think, more powerful.
Yeah, now I get your point there. I like that. Okay, let's see the next one. I love learning this. Oh, okay, the same thing again. Now that's do you like that? You see the shoes there?
I do see the shoes there. So if I was to center on the railing right there, then you move it over to the left or right and focus again. That's why you guys focus and go right. I never knew that.
Well, most people would focus on the swimmer.
Right. Exactly. And the balance of that was what I thought was so funny, and plus that relationship between the shoes and the swimmer, whether those were his shoes or not, I have no idea. But
you tell a story. It really tells a story. That's why you're a professional and I cook.
Hey, when it comes to cameras, does it really matter?
I think I've got a photograph coming up that was shot with a Polaroid camera that I think you'll enjoy.
Let's see.
It comes up in a second here. But the idea is I believe in photography the two most important things is how you frame the photograph and when you push the button. And everything else is superfluous. It really is. You need to learn how to run the camera that you have, but I shoot with a Polaroid camera. I have 3 settings, overexposure, underexposure, and flash or no flash. But it's knowing the idea of when to push the button means maybe waiting till the end of the day or waiting, until it's fight.
That's why I'm not a good photographer. I'm not patient.
I would actually say impatience is a good thing, because when you're impatient, you move quicker. It's not patience. It's knowing when to do it. I don't stress patient. I'm not a patient person.
Yeah, neither am I. Let's see the other ones. I'm dying to see. Oh, well, now where's this?
This is a graveyard in South Carolina where a tree had grown around the gravestone in the foreground.
Wow.
And
that's pretty awesome.
It was very, very nice for an Arizona photographer to go somewhere where you'd see like dates from the 1600s on gravestones,
And I noticed do you like the black and white? I've always liked black and white better.
I do too.
I print my own black and white. I do it the old-fashioned way, with chemistry and trays and all that sort of stuff and red lights, and that's pretty much how I do it.
Let's see the next one.
This is the one with the Polaroid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is shot with a Spectra Polaroid camera you could buy over at Osco's, and the same film that you would buy anywhere. It's timing. It's timing and framing, and you see the element of the frame going into the distance with the hay bales.
That's amazing. Now, does time of day, you think, are you a sunset
really guy? Yeah, it's only because I don't get up early enough to do a lot of sunrises.
I know. I always tell my husband we're on the beach. Wait till the sunset. The
or
orange
wait till
glow.
it's behind your back. Do you have to always wait to have the sun behind your back?
Actually, some wonderful photographs is with the sun behind the subject, but learning how to expose for the subject is really the tricky part. I've met photographers who shoot at 12 noon, in the Sahara and do incredibly wonderful photographs, but it's just about how you see, and what you look at.
Let's look at one more picture. I believe we have one more, because these are really,
probably
I
that
love
one up
them.
there.
Oh, this one one that we have. Oh, no, wait, no, what's that?
Oh, that one, yes. I'm sorry. That was shot actually for a project for Del Webb, and that's at Terra Vita. It's just the shadows of the chairs that were surrounding the Terra Vita clubhouse. I was on a fine art commission project.
You know, everybody's got these new, these digital little snappy things.
Sure.
How has that changed for you? Do you even use those?
I use a digital camera for my business as a location scout. I find backgrounds for commercials and still photography shoots under my company, Candid Landscapes. But I have not moved to digital photography. As a matter of fact, I had a very large sale just recently of photography that was all sold from slides I'd shot since the 1980s. So I had them scanned, and they're using them digitally, but I haven't moved to a digital camera yet, and I'm not sure when that's going to happen. I think the point-and-shoot cameras are great, but I think you have to understand what you can do with them, because you can't make 11 by 14s with a 4 megapixel, 4 megabyte file. You have to spend a lot of money still to really get a camera that you can blow up fairly large. But most people like 4 by 6 inch prints, and most point-and-shoot cameras can take a 4 by 6 inch.
I want to take a picture, this shot of this last picture, because I really, really love this. That is just, where is that?
That's in southern Arizona. It's near a ranch down in Elgin. And actually, I was on a location scouting project. I took my pictures for my client to show them the road that the truck was going to drive down, and then I stayed around for a little while longer and showed off what the pictures looked like.
How'd you get that road to come up, be so pronounced? That's what you notice.
It's a combination of using a wide-angle lens, like a 24mm lens, and coming very close to the ground. I mean, I'm literally probably, down about like that at knee level or a little bit higher, and then focusing primarily on this area here. But with the setting, it gave the near-far relationship, so they are actually pretty much sharp all the way through. And then it just was really waiting. I actually waited till there was pretty much no light left, but I think it was all shot handheld.
So you were patient.
I was patient after I had worked very quickly for my client. You're right.
Well, Steve, I like your advice. Those are all really good tips. And do you scout for movies, too?
I worked on The Kingdom, the one that just was shooting.
Oh, you did. Tim McGraw, when I talked to him the other night, he said he actually did a little, they went out to the set, him and Faith.
Oh, really? Cool.
Because he is actually in a small part of the movie.
That's funny. I scouted for a week. I was what's called the day player, so I came in for a couple of weeks. I found the perfect house that looked like Washington, D.C. in Encanto Park area.
You're kidding.
Yeah,
That's neat.
It was a fun job.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Cool. Plus, you just taught me a very important tip. Focus on your subject and then slightly move the camera just a little bit, make your picture more interesting.
It's pretty tough to focus on or change the focus when you use it by those little Instamatic cameras. Or
He did it. We'll learn.
It's 3 feet away or farther. That's the trick.
All right. Great. Thank you so much, Steve. And if you'd like to find out more about Steve's work, you can just log on to mysweetconnection.com, our brand new website. Lots of fun. And you can also check out the sweet rewards. So thank you, Steve, for being here.
Thank you.
Very nice to meet you. Coming up next, if you've noticed more spiders around your house, you're not alone. Some tips on treating these icky guys coming up next.